Harpo's numbers are slipping. Commemorations of 1812 and World War I just ain't cutting it anymore. Harpo needs a shooting war. Despite Harpo's bluster for the Ukrainian vote, NATO has cut the Ukraine loose. Prez Poroshenko photo-opped all over the NATO picnic in Wales, but in the end, the line in the sand was the Baltics. But to defend the Ukrainian vote, 13 Canadian military advisors will play war games in the Ukraine while 4 Canadian fighter jets fly around outside. ISIS has now trumped Vlad Putin as the evil du jour. It fired up the Western war machine with YouTube snuff videos of US freelance reporters. Of course, Americans kill journalists too, but you can't see their faces on a drone cam. ISIS is the Khmer Rouge of the Middle East. They're war-spawned monsters now controlling much of Iraq. George Bush the Elder warned his boy, "You break Iraq, you own it." But Harper is sending Canadian troops to Iraq. Now think about that. Remember Niger yellow cake and the weapons of mass destruction that could hit London in 45 minutes? Remember Colin Powell's UN PowerPoint with satellite photos of rolling chemical weapons factories? Remember how every single solitary bit of it was bullshit? Then remember our relief when Chrétien kept Canada out of the illegal invasion by the US and the UK. Now, UK jihadists are killing US journalists on video. We just bombed Libya and turned it into the breeding ground for its own set of monsters. Nothing was solved. Last year, the Russian intervention stopped NATO from bombing the Syrian army who are fighting ISIS. ISIS freedom fighters crossed into Iraq and transmogrified into terrorists. But they just want to set up an Islamic caliphate, like Saudi Arabia? Does Harper have any good reason to drag Canada into this shit? It certainly won't make our journalists, diplomats, or NGO workers any safer. Canada has actually succeeded in freeing its kidnapped diplomats and journalists. And it definitely won't make Canadians any safer at home. Our jihadist youth won't even have to leave to fight anymore. If Harper is dead set on protecting journalists, he can work on freeing Mohamed Fahmy, the Canadian Al Jazeera journalist jailed in Egypt on charges worthy of Kafka. If Harper wanted to alleviate the suffering in the Middle East, he could take in some of the 3 million Syrian refugees, or even some Palestinians. But Harper wants war. It's the last card in his hand. Doubling military spending like NATO wants will kill the Jim Flaherty Memorial surplus. But motorcades rolling down the Highway of Heroes in 2015 will sure prove once and for all that Harper ain't all hat and no cattle. In Toronto, for Rabble TV, I'm Umberto da Silva, not Rex Murphy.